hello. I was giving you guys a real world example of why we were talking about the Three of Swords and the Nine of Swords, right? Of some like coverted energy vampire you might have in your space, and what it could look like, right? Because sometimes when you're starting your spiritual journey, right, you don't really know what to look like when you're talking about like energy vampires, right? When we're talking about like everybody knows how to spot out a narcissist, right? Like if you don't know how to spot out a narcissist, I'm gonna need you to do some research so you don't ever end up in a situation like that, right? Because there are real narcissists out there, right? If you do know a narcissist, if you've ever met a narcissist, ever been in a situationship with the narcissist, right? So then you would know that a narcissist, how they react, how they just are with people, right? You would be able to know a narcissist right off the back of your hand, right? So that knowing a narcissist, you are already like in the door when it comes to knowing what an energy vampire is. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You could be even related to these narcissists or energy vampires, right? And sometimes it's really always the people closest to you, right? Always the people closest to you trying to siphon off your energy. Always the people closest to you who are the narcissists, right? And we just have to be able to discern that, be able to move forward from that, right? Not allowing them to mess with our energy, get us out of character, right? Because that's not what we're looking for, okay? I would hope, right? Otherwise it'd just be toxic on top of the toxic, okay? Crazy and crazy. As much as they seem like they would make a good couple, they would not. Okay. And I know, right? That situationship, promise you, the baby mama was crazy trying to be with crazy, right? So and I seen firsthand that crazy and crazy, you might think they attract, but it just gets more crazy, right? It don't get better. Okay. So we got the King of Cups and the Ace of Swords, right? The King of Cups is emotional balance, right? This is the king being the highest monarchy here, right, in the deck, with the Ace of Swords, the creme de la creme. So this is definitely emotional fulfillment, being able to have control over your emotional mind in the sense that even though like they're trying to get up on your energy, trying to siphon your energy, trying to figure out why they just don't have the same connection as they used to before, like you're not rocking, right? The boat might be on the water, but you're not rocking. You're still, right? You got a clear mindset. You know how to move forward with this, right? You know not to entertain any of their BS. You know that they're gonna try to come in and try to just get their fix of energy from you so that they can, you know, do what they have to do, right? They just want easy access whenever they want it. They don't actually want to be near you, right? They just want access to your energy. And you see through this. Guys, I usually do this at my desk, but your girl's injured, so she's staying in the bed. And I'm such like a... Because I might have to just go like this. Hold on. Oh, I got the Ace of Swords in there. Okay. Alright, so I have more room here. Alright. Okay, so Six of Cups, Four of Pentacles, and the Knight of Swords, right? Person reminiscing bad. Reminiscing bad about how they got stable energy off of you forever, and now you standing 10 toes down, not letting this person back into your space or your energy. They are mad. Okay. This person reminiscing about how they used to have such easy access to you, right? And now you're making it hard for them, and they're like, oh my goodness, do I have to go through this process of finding someone else to harvest energy off of? Like, do I really have to go through this process? Like, why can't you just let me into your space and let me do what I gotta do so I can stay up? Like, why I want to stay stable, you know, with the Four of Pentacles. I want to keep my gold mine that I found, right, of energy where I could just siphon off whenever I want. Like, that's They're literally reminiscing about this. That's so sick. I'm sorry, but that's so sick. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What's the vibe? Let me know down in the chat. Okay, so if you want to participate in the collective reading, all you have to do is like the screen. Okay, comment to stay a part of the flow. All right, you can share the live as well. Also, gifts are highly appreciated, and I'm very grateful for them. Okay, so that's how we are doing this reading today. That's all you have to do. All right, but you are literally standing 10 toes down on this energy that you're not allowing them back into your space, right? Like, you are literally standing 10 toes down on this, and they are reminiscent bad. That's why they have that Nine of Swords energy, right? They got this around them. They sitting there, they're like, well, you know, if you just give me one more chance, I promise I'm not gonna hurt you like I did last time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I promise, you know, if you just let me in, it'll be okay. And no, right? You are just not having any of this, and it's not even like physical content. It, like, at this point, it's not even just about like having physical contact with this person, or even like face-to-face contact with this person. It's more so like on an energetic level, right? Like, on an energetic level, you are just done, right? You could feel this person like trying to siphon your energy for a while now, and you know, you like, at this point, you're just kind of fed up with it. Okay, you're like, really, that's what we're doing? We're still doing that, right? Like, we still have to deal with people trying to get over on us, energetically wise, right? Use this as a doormat for their goals, for their necessities. All right, so yeah, you're standing 10 toes down on this. Ooh, okay, period. With the 10 of Cups, 4 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles, okay? And you definitely should not back down from this, okay? You should not back down from this at all, okay? Definitely you sticking to this, not backing down energetically, not backing down mentally, right? When it comes to this person's energy, is definitely, it's like freeing you, right? It's freeing you from having to contemplate this person, freeing you from, like, you could, like, somebody like you're trying to like put in the past, right, just keeps randomly popping up in your brain ever so often, right? That would be a clear sign that that person is trying to siphon off your energy, right? You don't have to, you know, this contemplation about this person, them contemplating about you, trying to you know, figure out ways of how they can get back into your energy, right? All at the same time, you're just not allowing this. You're not allowing this to come through. Your peace of mind is more precious to you than whoever this person thinks they are, right? They have it. Okay, that's disgusting. They have it so twisted in their mind that you literally can't live without them. Like, that you literally cannot be anything, do anything. Like, that you are literally, you being tied to them energetically, physically, right? They're saying that is, like, their energy is literally giving off, like, that's how, you know, they really truly believe, like, that's how you're coming up, like, that's how you're able to live. Like, you need them, right? As they believe you need them as badly as they actually need you, right? So it's like a very twisted, distorted way of thinking, right? Because they truly believe that, you know, if they don't have this connection with your energy, if they don't aren't able to have access to you, right? They truly believe that, you know, you are doing bad without them. Like, you would be doing bad without them, right? But in reality, that's not the case. Okay. So 10 of Cups, 4 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles, okay? That's the last cards we left off on, right? We know the 9 of Pentacles. I'm not taking that. right? So that contemplation about how can they get back into your energy, how can they get, Spirit saying in cahoots. But why in cahoots? I feel like there's a deeper meaning to cahoots, but I can't grab my computer. Guys, this injury. That is an excellent question. I love that. See, I love open-minded people who can literally come in and ask questions like that, to genuinely learn, not to tear down certain things, right? But they're asking, are readings, tarot readings, bad to do spiritually, or is that a misconception? That is a misconception, right? Literally, it's always about intent. It is always about how the energy flows, right? So, if somebody is using tarot for negative reasons, right, then the tarot isn't the problem. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Now, I'm gonna say it like this. If somebody were to give you a pew pew, right? Someone were to give you a pew pew, because we're on TikTok. If you get a pew pew and you put it in one person's hand, one person might take that pew pew, right? And they're gonna just put the safety on, leave it alone. They're not gonna do anything with it, right? Then you give a crash out a pew pew, right? The crash out gets the pew pew, and the crash out is going and spraying everybody. Nobody's safe in the crash out's version of this, right? So literally, it's the same thing with tarot. It's the same thing with energy in general, right? A magic in general. Okay, if you use it, same thing with the Bible. If you use the Bible for evil, it's you know what I'm saying? It's all about your intent. I'd rather you use the Bible for good, because there are some serious spiritual messages in there that if you decode them right, they will help humanity. But people use the Bible for evil, their own agendas too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can. It's a definite misconception, because tarot isn't inherently evil, right? It's not something that was created for evil. You know what I'm saying? It was created to talk to spirits, yes, but remember, intent is everything. So if your intention is to speak with high divine vibrational spirits, like you want to talk to God, you want to talk to ancestors, you want to talk to spirit guides, archangels, right? Like that kind of thing, you have to make that known. You have to make that very clear to the spiritual realm, right? You have to tell them who it is you want to speak with, right? And then same thing, if you want to just talk to random everyday spirits that could just be floating around, right, even though you don't know what their intent for you is, then you could do that too. I wouldn't recommend that ever. Ever, right? You don't know who on a 3D plane, you don't know who you're trying to contact, right? And you don't know what they're trying to do to you. So I just would only practice this tarot in the form of light, right? Exactly, right? Because you don't want to talk to dark spirits. You just don't, okay? Because they are, like Ebony said, tricky, right? They will run through. They are counting on you to be naive and gullible, okay? Especially if you don't know no better about tarot, okay? They already knowing you're an easy target. Okay. We have the Nine of Pentacles, and we have the Death card, and then we have the Knight of Wands. It's so funny the Queen of Wands comes out again in this reading. But it is necessary. Okay, no problem. Alright, so with the Death card and the Knight of Wands, I feel like this is a close to the cycle. Okay, a close, an ending. Okay. I tell you, like, there's some cards out here that really that seem scary, right? Some cards that, like, when you first probably start listening to people do tarot, and they're like, oh my goodness, the Death card, like, that's why you gotta pay attention, because there's a lot of fakes, right? Because when you find a real tarot reader, right? None of us are going to tell you that this card is inherently bad, right? None of us are going to be like, oh my goodness, the death card. Oh my goodness, the tower card. Like, now we might all just be like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't know the reading was taking this kind of turn. Okay, but like, we're not going to see it as something bad happening, right? Because it's all about context. Context of the reading, context of the energy. You have to be zoning on context. Yeah, Drew, because I've been doing this for going on 6 years now, right? I don't play about tarot. And there's so many people who play with it. And it's not something you play with, right? Your Bible isn't something you play with. Tarot is not something you play with. Okay. But this death card with the Knight of Wands right next to it, right? This is a close. It close to this old energy, this old cycle. The struggle for your energy, your peace of mind when it comes to this person trying to siphon your energy, right? Like, that struggle is coming to a close. We are full circle 10, right? Did I just see a 10? Right, we got a full circle. We have come back to the start. We have finally closed this off. This chapter is ready to close. Okay, it's something that is no longer needed in your reality, right? It was there for, a good time, not a long time. It was just in that moment, right? Something you probably it doesn't matter if you got yourself in this situation or, because a lot of the time people think, if you were the reason you were in a situation means they weren't meant to be in that situation. Okay, and glory to God always, right? They think that they weren't meant to be in that situation, but here's the thing. If God didn't want you in a certain situation, God would have made sure on everything to make sure that you were not in that situation. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? Like, God is not going to put you in a situation knowing that you might get hurt to the point where it ain't no coming back. You know what I'm saying? So you're never going to be put in a situation. You're never going to get yourself in a situation that God has not already predetermined is okay for your journey. Okay? Because if it wasn't okay, you would not be there. Right? So even in those situations, right, there were still lessons that needed to be learned, right? Even if you got yourself there, even if it was just something that just happened, right, because it was divine timing, right? You still needed to learn something out of that, right? And this is the way that God was going to teach you through that, okay? And so this person, being attached to your energy for however long they were attached to your energy was a necessity for you to grow on your journey, right? Because now this allows you to know what it feels like, know what it looks like, right? Now you're able to spot an energy vampire from a mile away. You're able to discern that what someone's true intentions are for you by how they move, by how they talk, right? You're able to discern these little things now because now they can't be converted, right? Because there's people who really try to convert their energy, try to make it seem like they're not a bad person, make it seem like they're not out to try to harvest your energy. They don't have any bad intentions for you, right? And a lot of the time, when you start getting your discernment level up, right, when you're starting able to use more of your spiritual discernment to see through that kind of stuff, right, that it's like you can see through the act, right? You can see through the mask, and you're like, no, I'm never dealing with that again, right? And that's a lesson in and of itself. It doesn't matter if it's family, it doesn't matter if it's friends, a partner, right? Like, none of that matters who it is, right? Because it doesn't matter who they are, right? If this situation was going on, it was meant to happen so that now when you come around other people, you know what you're not looking for, right? You are, in a person what I'm not looking for. If I sense any of these things, you gotta go.